Today in our Ghana Mom series, we take you to Nipa Nyamwa, a village along the Techiman-Kintambo Highway in the Bono East region. Its name, meaning human needs help, reflects the deep wisdom of its first settler, who believed that no one thrives alone, no matter their status in life. Anna Sabit reports.
Names of communities in Ghana are more than just words. They are stories, lessons, and legacies etched into the soul of our land. Imagine a community so rooted in unity that its identity demands collaboration. A community named Nipa Nyamwa, which literally means man needs help. This name breathes life into an ancient truth that no one walks alone. As we celebrate the Ghana Month, we are here to unravel the story behind this powerful name and meet the people keeping its spirit alive. James Najombo is the unit committee chairman here.
Oh, crazy dear. The
name of the community is not bad. It was named by our fathers. A man migrated to the community. When he came, he met another man called Opinia, who accepted him by saying, every man needs help, so therefore I will help you. This tale isn't just folklore. It is the heartbeat of Nipa Nyamwa, where the people believe that every man needs help irrespective of his financial status.
Yeah, no, and yes, Capesi, and no abroso. Sabea or do better.
Looking at the way they lived tells you that it's not always about money. Living cordially matters. So how the man accepted him wholeheartedly illustrates the saying that every man needs help. A person's situation doesn't matter. So it was finally named after the man's continuous saying, every man needs help. One of the most interesting things we spotted here is that despite the fact that every man needs help, the people of Nipa Nyamwa feel they've been neglected by people in authority. Their biggest challenge has to do with the unavailability of proper school block to shape the lives of the community's next generations. A man's knowledge depends on education. Without education, one yields nothing in life. So when you take a look at our school structure, everyone wants to take his or her child to the city, so we need a new school infrastructure. With just 4 makeshift classroom spaces accommodating the entire primary population, peoples of the community have to walk for over an hour to the next community by foot on a daily basis to access junior high school education. This has pushed many children out of school over the years. Whenever we leave the community to attend a different school, people usually mock us by saying our school is made up of wooden structure. Because of this, majority of the youth don't like attending school. During our day, because we always want to get a roll call, we walk hurriedly to school. We sometimes run 100 meters in order to get there on time. The younger ones, unfortunately, spend not an hour before they reach. Walking this Techiman-Kintambo highway exposes these children to the dangers of being knocked down by speeding vehicles. They walk about a mile to school. They might be knocked down by speeding vehicles. Should they build a new GHS structure for us, it will help us immensely. This isn't entirely the community's only challenge. The absence of a health facility means people seeking for health care, including pregnant women, would have to trek to Juneho, Bonomanso or Techiman to access health care. Rebecca Dibimpong calls for help.
Sometimes when one is pregnant, we visit Bonomanso or Techiman for antenatal care. We don't also have any lorry station available to help us reach the health facility early. Some end up losing their lives. We plead on authorities to help us.
Water, they say, is life, but the people here do not have access to a portable source of drinking water. They've been drinking from an untreated water source over the years.
What
I have to say has to do with the unavailability of portable water. We have boreholes that is all manpower which spoils easily. The only source of water too is not safe due to its contamination by people who swim is the source. So water is one of the items we need most. Man, they say, needs help, and the people here are appealing for help. We need the school urgently, and then a clean water and a clinic, because every man needs help. As Ghana turns 68 this month, Nipa Hinyamwa offers a timeless mirror. In a world often divided, this village thrives by a simple truth that our greatest independence lies in depending on one another.
This story of Nipa Hinyamwa tells us how important man is irrespective of your financial status. So as part of our Ghana Man series, this has been the narration behind the name Nipa Hinyamwa, and it's an Asabit reporting for Joy News.
All right, so we'll be wrapping up soon, but before we do, let's talk about something very important, and we are talking about childhood cancers and the fact that the Konfanoche Teaching Hospital, the hospital is over 70 years old, and there's no unit that dedicated to taking care of this very important, ailment. And a group has come together to help build a center of excellence at the Konfanoche Teaching Hospital to address this challenge. And I'm privileged to say that I have in the studio Lady Janet Boateng Chair, the Africa Child Cancer Africa, the Action Child Cancer Africa.
Yes.
It's good to see you here in the studio.
Yes, thank you so much.
All right. Also joining us via Zoom is Dr. Vivian Pencil, Senior Lecturer, Pediatrics, School of Medicine, KNUST, Head of Pediatric Oncology Unit, Konfanoche Teaching Hospital. Dr. Pencil, also good afternoon and welcome to the program. And
thank you very much.
Great. And I also have Professor Barry Pisa, retired world-renowned pediatric neuro-oncologist at Alda Key Hospital. Prof, also good to see you. Good afternoon. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be on the program.
Great. So let me start with Dr. Vivian Pencil, because you are the KNUST and this is your area. What is the state of affairs as far as childhood cancer is concerned, especially at the Konfanoche Teaching Hospital?
Okay, thank you for asking us that question. In terms of the pediatric oncology services at KATH, I would say that it is there. Currently, we are seeing a lot of an increase in the number of patients that we see at the pediatric oncology unit.
We appear to be losing her because of connection. Let's see if we can re-establish connection to Dr. Vivian Pencil. But before we do that, let me come to the studio. Lady Janet Boateng, again, you're welcome. So why this intervention?
The intervention started at Kolebu Hospital in Accra when I visited with my husband and some members of the Ghana International Bank. And what struck me was the conditions for which children were being treated who have childhood cancer. And I decided that I wanted to do something about it. So I began to build some libraries because I didn't know what I could do.
Right.
So I decided to embark on building libraries in every oncology unit in Ghana. So we've started with in Accra,
Kolebu Teaching Hospital.
Kolebu. We've now got a library in Tamale General Hospital, and we have just finished one at Kumasi KATH. We will build one at Ho, but also at Cape Coast. And then I decided on that journey that I wanted to learn about childhood cancers and why the statistics in Ghana and in sub-Saharan Africa as a whole was so low in comparison to the statistics in higher income countries. And we need to put this into perspective.
Right.
Because in Ghana, we have between 20 to 30% survival rate, and sometimes lower. In higher income countries, we're dealing with over 85, 90% of survival. And these are cancers.
Meaning in Ghana, if you are diagnosed, your chance of survival is very slim.
It's very, very low. And what is so striking and what makes it a crisis, a national crisis in Ghana, is that we have only 10 pediatric oncologists serving 33 million people. That is a crisis.
And I'm guessing most of them are also concentrated in Accra and Kumasi.
And they're concentrated in Kumasi because one must remember that the main two teaching hospitals that are dealing with childhood cancers happen to be Komfenachi in Kumasi and Korebu in Accra.
Right.
So when you look at the discrepancies from a sort of urban and rural perspective, you will recognize that those in rural areas are not served. And therefore, children are dying as a result of these anomalies. And the anomalies, I think, are quite striking. Because in Ghana, there are 1,200 to 1,300 children presenting with childhood cancers at those centers.
Right.
And less than half of them are being treated. So what happens to the rest of them?
Is it because of lack of access or the expensive nature of the treatment that is beyond the reach of a lot of people?
Well, it is lack of access. It is financial cost, because one must remember that the children that are presenting at these hospitals, they're not children of the rich.
No.
There are children of the poor, children of families who cannot afford the treatment, and children who have no life chances and no hope. And we have to give them hope.
Okay.
Ghana's children, and it's not a question of whether or not they get treated the medicine. Every child in this country, regardless of whoever they are, race, I think that their treatment should transcend race, creed, and where they come from.
Okay. Lady Pierce, if we can just hold it briefly from, let me go over. Dr. Vivian Pencil has joined us back. I'll also be going to Professor Barry soon. So, Dr. Pencil, lady is painting a very serious picture for us. I mean, you are on the field. The survival rate is low. There's an issue of access, which is not even there. And then people simply cannot afford the treatment. That is if they are diagnosed. Because in the normal Ghanaian parlance, cancer should be associated with the rich and those in the advanced countries.
So in terms of that, what I would say is that it is true. So if we look at estimates, between 1,200 and 1,300 people should be diagnosed, children should be diagnosed with cancer. But out of that, if you look at the major centers that we have, it's basically Kolebu, Komfanoche, and then Greater Accra region. And then we have what we call the shared care center at Techiman. So if you look at all these, what we normally see is just between 550 to 600 children who are diagnosed every year. But what happens to the rest is still something that we need to discuss. First is we always, as Ghanaians, we always spiritualize a lot of things, which will say that, oh, it's not a disease that we need to take to the hospital and all that. And then apart from that, coming from the villages, from the hinterlands into the city is also another major thing, where people, although they are referred, also find it very difficult to come to the hospitals. And then after that also, finances, access, finances. If you don't have funds, then it becomes a lot difficult for you because you need to pay for a lot of things. And we all know that cancer treatment is not that cheap.
Right.
It is expensive. If you take some of our leukemias, you need more than 100,000 before you can treat someone with a leukemia. And so if you bring all these together and patients come, and then not only that, their transportation in and out of the hospital, that comes with funds. They have to leave their work at some point in time and come and stay near the hospital. That means that they are losing their work. They don't have money. They are leaving children in the homes. And all these also bring some cost to the caregiver.
Right.
And because of that, at times it becomes very difficult for them to, although you've started treatment, they abandon treatment at some point in time because of some of all these conditions that are added to them.
Let me allow Professor Barry to have a bite of this. So, Prof, you've heard from Lady, you've heard from the doctor on the ground, the challenges that we face as a country, Ghana. Indeed, I'm sure that in most of African countries, similar stories can be told. What would be your suggestion going forward?
Okay, well, the first thing to say is it's a great pleasure to be in Ghana again. It's a wonderful, welcoming country, and it's really great to be here. And so this week I've been at Kufanachi, at KATH, and had the great pleasure of meeting Dr. Vivian and her team. And the first thing to say is the doctors here and the doctors at Kolobu are highly trained, highly skilled, and very committed. Not just the doctors, the nurses, the whole team. But unfortunately, Ghana, they face the challenges of treating childhood cancer effectively. The first message to say, and this isn't probably accepted by everyone in the population, it's a worldwide problem. The first thing to say is childhood cancer is curable. That message needs to be made loud and clear.
Right.
And as I heard from Lady Janet, in high-income countries like the UK, North America, we are curing 85% of children with cancer. In Ghana, it's probably around the 20 to 30 mark. And there are lots of reasons for that. But the first step is for the country, the decision makers, to accept that childhood cancer is curable and that appropriate treatment, life-saving treatment, needs to be resourced, needs to be funded. Right. So, yes, Lady Janet and the team are aiming to build a centre of excellence at KATH in Kumasi, but that is just the start. That needs to be seen as a touchstone to show the country that we mean business, if you like, with respect to increasing this outcome of children with cancer, to save essentially thousands of lives, children who currently die, that with proper treatment will go on to live happy, healthy lives and contribute to Ghanaian society. These are clear messages which need to go across the country. There's lots of challenges, but as you rightly say, the cost of treatment, access to effective treatment is a major one, and that's clear from my visit this week.
All right.
So the country needs to get together, politicians, decision makers, to look at systems by which we can allow families of children with cancer, particularly poor families, to get the sort of treatment that they deserve and that they would get in high-income countries.
Thank you very much, Prof. Let me come back to Lady Janet. So we've just got a minute and a half to go. So what will you say? So is the center almost done, ready?
It's nowhere.
It's nowhere near. It's nowhere near completion.
Near done.
All right.
We haven't even started digging sod.
Okay. Okay.
But what I can say is that Ghana's children deserve justice. This is an issue around equality and justice. And therefore, what I'm trying to achieve and my team is trying to achieve is we want to build a center of excellence at Konfunachi. And this center of excellence will provide world-class treatment for children at the point of delivery, irrespective of costs,
the economic conditions,
or their economic conditions. Exactly. And we will attempt to train many more pediatric cancer specialists, but we will also to ensure sustainability, because we know that sometimes in Africa we build something and it's not sustainable. And therefore, what we're trying to do is to build sustainability through partnership and through funding for 5 years, so that we can deliver something to Ghana's children.
All right.
Because these children are the future doctors, the future lawyers, the future judges, the future politicians, and the future teachers. So therefore, you know, the health of Ghana's nation should be imperative to every one of us.
We'll have to leave it here, but this is a discussion that has just started, and of course that in days to come we'll follow it up, see how it is going. But you've been listening to Lady Janet Boateng, Chair, Action Child Cancer Africa, and she and her team are putting together this Center of Excellence at the Konfunachi Teaching Hospital, just to give life to children diagnosed with cancer. My name is Elton Brobe. I'll leave you in the hands of Pius, who is coming with the business life here on Joy News. Have a good evening. Take care.